Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Look, we all know the world's a crazy place. Between pandemics, wars, and the sky seemingly falling, it's no wonder more and more people are getting ready for anything. But here's the thing about prepping. It's not just about hoarding beans and ammo. It's about making smart choices, tough choices, the kind most people don't want to think about. So today, we're diving into the things preppers should never do. Trust me, this is gonna get real. Let's talk about cities. Cities are often seen as the pinnacle of human achievement, bustling hubs of culture, commerce, and innovation. But beneath the surface, there's a darker side that we need to address. The thought of a gridlocked city during an evacuation should send shivers down your spine. Imagine trying to escape a city when everyone else has the same idea. Highways become parking lots and side streets are no better. You're stuck, vulnerable, and exposed. Look, I love the city. I've spent plenty of time in them. The convenience of having everything at your fingertips, the diversity of people and experiences, it's intoxicating. But that same density that makes cities so vibrant can also be their downfall. The energy, the culture. There's always something happening, always something to do. But what happens when the lights go out? When the infrastructure we rely on every day fails us? But when the SHTF, cities become massive death traps, natural disasters, terrorist attacks, pandemics, these events can turn a thriving metropolis into a nightmare almost overnight. You're talking about millions of people crammed into a concrete jungle, all vying for the same dwindling resources. Food, water, medical supplies, everything becomes scarce. And when people get desperate, things can get ugly fast. Power goes out, those skyscrapers become tombs. Elevators stop working, trapping people inside. Without electricity, there's no heating, no cooling, no way to preserve food. The very buildings that symbolize progress become prisons. Water stops flowing, good luck finding a drop to drink. Cities rely on complex systems to deliver clean water, and when those systems fail, the consequences are dire. People will do anything to get their hands on water, and that can lead to violence. You think those delivery apps are going to save you? Think again. In a crisis, supply chains break down, trucks can't get through, and stores run out of stock. You're on your own, and the conveniences you took for granted are gone. Remember those riots a few years back? The chaos, the fear, the uncertainty? Now imagine that on a national scale. Not pretty, right? When law and order break down, cities become battlegrounds. Now imagine that on a national scale. The aftermath of such events leaves scars that take years, if not decades, to heal. Buildings can be rebuilt, but the psychological toll on the people is immeasurable. Emergency services get overwhelmed. First responders can only do so much, and when they're stretched thin, people have to fend for themselves. Communities can come together, but they can also fall apart. So, what's the solution? Some say the answer is to get out while you can, to move to rural areas where you can be more self-sufficient. Others believe in making cities more resilient, investing in infrastructure that can withstand disasters. Urban farming, renewable energy, and sustainable living practices are all steps in the right direction. But these changes take time, and time is something we might not have. We need to start planning now, preparing for the worst while hoping for the best. It's not about fear-mongering, it's about being realistic. Cities have their advantages, but we can't ignore their vulnerabilities. Ultimately, the strength of a city lies in its people. When communities come together, they can overcome incredible challenges. But it requires awareness, preparation, and a willingness to adapt. So let's not wait for the next disaster to strike. Let's start building cities that are not just places to live, but places where we can survive and thrive, no matter what comes our way. Are you prepared for the unexpected? Because in the end, it's not just about surviving, it's about living, and living well, even in the face of adversity. We all got our vices, right? Those little habits that help us unwind after a long day or cope with stress. Some people like to unwind with a stiff drink, savoring the burn of whiskey as it goes down, taking the edge off life's pressures. But in a SHTF scenario, those vices can turn into deadly liabilities faster than you can say withdrawal. Imagine this. You're holed up in your safe house, food's running low, and your body's screaming for nicotine or booze. The cravings are intense, and the stress of the situation only amplifies them. You're not thinking straight. You're a danger to yourself and everyone around you. Your mind is clouded and your judgment is impaired. You become desperate, you make mistakes. You might leave the safety of your shelter to find a fix, exposing yourself to unnecessary risks, mistakes that can get you killed. In a crisis, every decision counts, and there's no room for error. And let's be real. In a crisis, who's gonna have your back when you're busy puking your guts out from withdrawal? Your companions might be too focused on their own survival to help you, or worse, they might see you as a liability. So, what can you do to avoid this grim scenario? The first step is to recognize the potential danger your vices pose. If you're serious about prepping for a crisis, it's time to start weaning yourself off those habits now. Gradually reduce your intake of cigarettes, alcohol, or any other substances you rely on. This way, if a crisis does hit, your body won't be in shock from sudden withdrawal. Find healthier ways to cope with stress. Exercise, meditation, and deep breathing exercises can all help you manage anxiety without relying on substances. Invest in learning new skills that can help you in a crisis. First aid, self-defense, and basic survival skills can all increase your chances of making it through a tough situation. Build a support network of like-minded individuals who can help you stay accountable and provide mutual aid in times of need. Stock up on essential supplies, including non-perishable food, water, and medical supplies. Make sure you have enough to last for an extended period, as you never know how long a crisis might last. Create a detailed plan for different types of emergencies. Know where you'll go, how you'll get there, and what you'll do once you arrive. Having a plan in place can reduce panic and help you make better decisions under pressure. Practice your plan regularly. Conduct drills with your family or survival group to ensure everyone knows their role and can act quickly in an emergency. By taking these steps, you can reduce your dependence on vices and increase your chances of surviving a crisis. Remember, preparation is key, and the time to start is now. Don't let your vices be the reason you don't make it through. Take control of your habits, prepare for the worst, and give yourself the best possible chance of survival. Because in the end, it's not just about surviving the crisis, but thriving in the aftermath, and that starts with making smart choices today. The echo chamber. Why you need more than one news source. Look, we've all been there. You find a news source, a podcast, a YouTube channel that really speaks to you. You start to agree with everything they say, every conspiracy theory, every wild prediction. But here's the thing about echo chambers. They warp your perception of reality. You need to be getting your information from a variety of sources, even the ones you disagree with. Because the truth, as they say, is often somewhere in the middle. Loose lips sink ships. The importance of staying silent. In the world of prepping, silence is not just golden, it's essential for survival. So you've got your bug-out bag packed, your skills honed, and you're ready for anything that comes your way. Your pantry is stocked to the brim with all the essentials you might need to weather any storm. You're feeling pretty good about yourself, right? You've put in the time, the effort, and the resources to ensure that you and your loved ones are prepared for any eventuality. But here's a hard truth that many preppers overlook. Bragging about your preps is like painting a target on your back. It's tempting to share your accomplishments, to show off your well-organized supplies and your extensive knowledge, but in doing so, you might be compromising your safety. Because when the going gets tough, and society starts to fray at the edges, guess who your unprepared neighbors are coming to for help? You. They remember that conversation you had about your stockpile, and now they're desperate. And they'll be willing to do whatever it takes to get what you have. Desperation can drive people to extreme measures, and in a survival scenario, the rules of civility often go out the window. So keep your mouth shut, your head down, and your preps to yourself. It's not about being selfish, it's about being smart and ensuring your own survival. If you must share your knowledge, do it discreetly and with people you trust implicitly. Forming a close-knit group of like-minded individuals can be beneficial, but even within that group, discretion is key. Use coded language and subtle hints if you need to communicate about your preps. The less obvious you are, the safer you'll be. Practicing OPSEC or operational security is crucial. This means being mindful of what you say, where you say it, and who might be listening. It's about creating a culture of silence and vigilance. Blend in with the crowd. Don't draw attention to yourself or your preparations. The more you stand out, the more likely you are to become a target. Use nondescript storage containers and avoid labeling them with obvious terms like food or supplies. The less information you give away, the better. Practice your drills quietly and out of sight. The more you can do to keep your activities under the radar, the safer you'll be. Maintaining a low profile is not just about physical actions, but also about your online presence. Be cautious about what you share on social media. Even seemingly innocent posts can give away more than you intend. Use secure communication methods when discussing your preps. Encrypted messaging apps and private forums can help keep your conversations safe from prying eyes. Building trust within your community is important, but trust should be earned and not given lightly. Be selective about who you let into your inner circle. Stay informed about local threats and developments. The more you know about what's happening around you, the better prepared you'll be to respond appropriately. Adaptability is key. Situations can change rapidly, and being able to adjust your plans and actions accordingly can make all the difference. Finally, stay calm under pressure. Panic can lead to mistakes, and mistakes can be costly. Keep a clear head, think things through, and act with purpose. In the end, there's strength in silence. By keeping your preps to yourself and staying vigilant, you're not just protecting your supplies, you're protecting your future. So remember, in the world of prepping, silence isn't just a strategy, it's a way of life. Stay silent, stay safe, and stay prepared. Stay frosty out there. So there you have it, things preppers should never do. Look, prepping isn't about looking cool or showing off, it's about survival. And sometimes, survival means making tough choices, challenging your assumptions, and being brutally honest with yourself. Now I want to hear from you. What are some of the things you think preppers should avoid? What are your biggest prepping challenges? Let's keep the conversation going in the comments below, and as always, stay frosty out there.